Hi and happy Monday. My name is Tara. I'm with Love Prevails. I've got my friend Amy here. Amy, thank you for being here today.
I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad that you're here. And Amy, what I'm doing with these videos is I'm introducing my company, Love Prevails, and what we do is we offer peer support and intervention support services for those that are struggling with addiction, and helping their loved ones and helping them get into treatment. And it's been a good journey, and I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend and did some fun stuff. What'd you do this weekend, Amy?
I had a great weekend.
Really?
I had a really good, just normal, easy, all the fun things. I want to say, first of all, though, I'm rooting for you, Tara. I have been all along. I think it's so awesome what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to be a part of it today for you. But yes, my weekend was just full of family, friends. It's my dog's birthday.
Aww.
So we bought him an ice cream cone, which my husband was like, should he have that much dairy? I was like, once a year, it's all good.
Yeah.
We went to a birthday party, just church. Really, I did a gratitude list yesterday that was an entire page in my journal, just of bullet points of highlights, which were really just normal things that I just enjoy so much now. Life is just, it's good. It's really good. And my husband recently changed jobs, so he has actual weekends off, which I'm still getting used to a year later. And we just pack those full of, family things. And so it was a very nice weekend.
You guys are very, very busy people.
I don't feel like we're like that busy, but we do fill up our time, but we're pretty intentional about it. And I'm pretty protective of family time. I have a 2.5-year-old at home and one on the way, so that changed a lot of my perspective as far as time goes and how to spend it.
Are you booking out all the weekends that you're going to go boating?
Probably not. We'll have a newborn over the summer, so I basically am like, talk to me in August, talk to me in September.
Yeah.
We're just going to go with the flow for a few months. I'm really looking forward to that. Life slowing down even more.
I can't wait to hold the baby. You have to promise me that I can hold the baby.
Of course.
Yay, because I love babies so much. I had an interesting weekend. So I raised, my dad is a pastor. And so there's always been a verse in the Bible that says to, and I'm not going to be able to quote it verbatim, but it's something to the effect of don't be forgetful when attending to strangers, something to the effect of, because some people are entertaining angels unaware.
I was going to say, there's something about angels in there.
Yes, I am quite certain that happened to me this weekend. And there was a lady that needed a ride somewhere, and I gave her a ride. And this is, she was definitely suffering from mental illness. Some of the things she was telling me, the stories she was telling me, they were just like, what? No way. It was just like off the charts kind of stuff. But some of it was very, very similar to some things that my youngest daughter had been dealing with. And so I was telling her, that's similar to what my youngest daughter's dealt with. And I gave her a little bit of insight into that. And she said some things to me that were so spot on that I never even thought about. That was just like, oh my gosh, that's true. Well, I got her to where she needed to go, and she wanted to pay for the ride. So she hands me a $100 bill. And I'm like, that's a $100 bill. And she goes, I know. And I said, no, that's too much. That's $100. It was like a 15-minute ride. I said, no, that's too much. And I'm trying to give her this $100 bill back. So then she gives me another $100 bill. And I'm like, no, that's too much for this ride. That is too much. You take these back. because I honestly didn't think she knew what she was doing. And she goes, you take this money and you take your daughter to go do something that makes her feel beautiful. And I was like, and I went home, I was like, Lacey, this just happened. What do you want to do? And so she wanted to go get her nails done because that made her feel beautiful. So we went and got our nails done yesterday, and you know how much that cost, tip and everything? Exactly $200.
That's awesome.
That was
how beautiful.
How perfect is that? And so my daughter felt really, really good. Well, here's the thing. This woman also left her. Every time you do that, it gives a thumbs up. But she'll do it again. So I just realized that. But anyway, she also left her iPhone. And I have been doing everything I can to track her down to give her back her iPhone because there's no way I'm keeping this iPhone. And so I have been doing everything in my power to get her back her iPhone. And she's nowhere to be found. And also, she hasn't even put on Find My iPhone. And so I'm still gonna do some work to track her down to see what I can. Because my gosh, I need to give her back her phone. But how crazy is that whole thing?
That is really something.
Yeah. I mean, I hope I find her. But
I think you're spot on with the angel comment.
Yeah. I'm going to do some more work to try and get her back her phone because at the very least I want to this woman gets her phone back.
I'm surprised she hasn't reached out to like Uber.
I know.
Where's my phone?
But anyway,
poor lady.
I know. So so that was my weekend. I thought that was really cool.
That is awesome.
So Amy, we've known each other for how long now?
A year and 4 months ish.
A little while. Yeah. And
when I got sober.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah. And I know, that, your journey into sobriety has been a little bit of a rocky road. And basically what we're doing with these videos is talking about why did you get sober and why do you stay? And so why did you get sober?
Starting in 2018 was my first inclination that I had a problem. Substance abuse, mostly alcohol, but also a little bit of marijuana in there as well. I used it the same way, so I kind of chunked them together. And I tried a group called Celebrate Recovery, which is a Christian-based recovery program. Awesome. Very, I grew up in the faith, so to me, it seemed like a pretty logical solution of, somewhere to at least start. Like I said, I had an inkling that I had a problem, but I wasn't at the point where I felt like I really was an addict. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't serious about it. I was kind of like just curious about what life would be like. And I think I stayed sober for like 3 weeks or something, and then we went on vacation. And then years go by, and things keep happening that really upset, of course, my husband, who is not an alcoholic. He's an amazing person, and just started noticing that we go out, and I'd already be drunk by the time we got to the brewery or something like that. Probably like 2020, 2021 is really when I started hiding a lot of my use, and that, of course, really got me to I don't want to say internalize, or just like realize deep down that I'm not okay. I'm sick. Unfortunately, alcoholism runs in my family. It is something that I've been overly aware of. My brother has had his own journey, and I've walked with him through that. He's been sober, praise God, like I think this is 6 years now. Unfortunately, it took having my daughter, which I thought, okay, I'm pregnant for 9 months. I'm staying sober for 9 months. And in fact, it felt like, thank God I'm pregnant because I don't have to drink now. It's like, it's a great thing. And then I had her, and it was literally like off to the races, like 2 weeks after she was born. I never drove with her drunk or felt like I put her in specific danger, but there were instances I was alone with her and I was drunk, that I probably wasn't paying as much attention as I should have. Certainly, I was stealing money. I recall there was a gift of $50 that was given to her from a friend of mine that I didn't tell my husband about. And it just became a game of where can I find money that he won't know about? When can I go to the liquor store? Because of course now I have my daughter to coordinate, care and all these things. And did I bring an empty water bottle that I can pour my booze into and, stash the bottle at a gas station or something? Like literally, this is what I thought about all day long, every day. I was either thinking about drinking, or regretting that I was drunk, especially the next day. So essentially, I was completely trapped, didn't know how to get out. I knew I had a really big problem. But when you're drunk and you are an alcoholic, you just push those feelings aside, and like the only thing that matters is the next bottle of booze that you buy, and you swear, okay, this is it. No. So we had a really unfortunate family outing at the Denver Zoo that I could hardly walk. I was so drunk. I was drunk by the time we got there. We went out for pizza before. I got 2 beers, which my husband thought was odd that I already had that I wanted 2 beers. And then we get to the zoo, and it's just, it was bad. It was really bad. And we get home that night, and he discovered the very long list of charges to a credit card that I didn't know he knew about. And all these different liquor stores all over the place. And it was absolutely 100% the God intervention that I needed to derail me off of this awful, isolating, scary road. It was a matter of time before I put my daughter in real danger. Not to mention, I wasn't like fully aware of watching her grow up. At this point, she's a year old. So, in hindsight, I'm so grateful that did end up happening. So it's like, everyone says, like, this is a wake-up call, but it, like, literally was, that's what it was, entirely, 100%. So I saw a therapist the next couple of days, and she told me, Amy, you've got to get yourself into rehab or go to AA. 6 days a week, get your butt into an AA meeting. And lo and behold, I had never thought, oh, AA, yeah, that would be a good place to find myself. I had gone to some AA meetings, just out of curiosity, with my dad, a couple on my own, but she said, you've got to make a plan. 6 days a week, you've got to be there. It works. It's really an amazing program. I had done the steps before, but I was not, again, that was 2022. I was not ready. I didn't get it. I didn't understand. I don't think I fully was not aware of really how sick I was. But thank God for here, the Orchard Club, and I found some other clubs that fit, perfectly with our child care schedule and my work schedule, that I could get there 6 days a week. Found a sponsor, did the steps, and actually prayed about the steps. And of course, yes, those first few months were very scary and weird, and I think there's still moments and I'm like trying to figure out, and I think that's okay, of course. Life is always a learning process no matter what, but to say that life is much easier and much more just satisfying and enjoyable, and like all these things that I took for granted, like just so special. And being able to be there with my daughter when she's saying these things that just don't make any sense, that I'm just gonna remember forever. It's like, I love you so much. It's an amazing thing to be a mom, but to be a sober mom. And I will say, like, that is one thing I love about the groups, is that unfortunately there are a lot of people that have been down the road of being drunk when their children were growing up. I'm so sad for those stories, and I really I feel for those families, but it keeps me sober.
Yeah.
To know that I have the chance to be the mom, to be the wife, to be the friend and the daughter, and all the things that I just feel so proud of. Whereas a year and a half ago, I don't know who I was. I was not, I don't feel like I really started to have a major drinking problem until I kind of fell into the just pressures of life as an adult. I didn't start drinking until I was like 26, 27 years old. Just having fun, going out. But then it turned to, oh wow, I feel a lot better when I do this or that or whatever. So, yeah, I'm very, very grateful for you, Tara, that you have walked with me this journey, and I'm really grateful for this club too. The people here are very, very helpful and encouraging.
I've met your family, and you have a beautiful family and a super sweet little girl. I'm very excited for the new little one, and I can't wait to hold it. Yeah, it promised me at least one hole. But
You're on the top of the list.
Yay. But yeah, those babies, it just made me so happy. But I remember when you first came in, and I remember you'd have your hat pulled down, and you'd sit in the back, and you'd be gone right after the meeting. And finally one day when they were getting up to end the meeting, I went over there to hold your hand, and we've been attached ever since. And I'm very grateful for you. And we've got the light. The light went off, but we'll be okay.
It was meant to be.
Yeah. So you mentioned that when you first came in, you didn't understand, and I experienced the same thing. I didn't understand at all, because you hear a lot of different stories, and my story did not fit any of these stories, and so I didn't, that I realized parts of all of our stories. One of my most favorite sayings that I've heard is, everybody's story is a piece to my puzzle. And so while none of our stories are exact, there's some similarities, and they don't need to be exact. It's the core of what's going on inside of us that is very similar. Mm-hmm. And I didn't understand it either. I struggled for my first full year of sobriety. I struggled because I didn't understand, and I tell my sponsor all the time, I don't need to make amends. I've made amends. I've done all this. And it took me a long time to realize first what an amends even was, and and that I really did harm people, and so that was hard for me too, and I think that's pretty common to not understand. Some people get it quicker than others. I was a slow bloomer, but I think I was that way in pretty much every aspect of life. Takes me a little bit. I have to think about it for a long time.
Dissect it.
Yes. So what keeps you sober?
Waking up every day and having no regret of anything I did the day before is such a good feeling. Like, there is nothing that can compare to a sober Sunday morning. Drinking coffee, hanging out. Fortunately, it was every day of the week, but Sunday seems like a good day.
You drink more on the weekends, probably.
Any excuse, for sure. Just the clear-mindedness. I can see glimmers of myself from when I was like 15 years ago, sober, just so like high on life. I think about myself at that time and what I anticipated for my life as an adult and what I saw myself doing and my bucket list, and like I lost sight of that person, but she's coming back, and she's so much more beautiful. Yeah. And she's a mom. Like, I knew I always wanted to be a mom, but I mean, it's pretty cool to see, and I'm grateful that I do have such good memories of being a kid and being a college person. Like I said, I really drank in college. I could count on like one hand how many times so, and my daughter, she keeps me sober. I'm terrified now. I'm terrified now to like miss something. So I journal a lot, and I write down things that she said and done. It's such a blessing to be present for her, and for her to have all of me, because she deserves that for sure.
Definitely makes life a little more fulfilling. So do you feel like you've been sober for a while now, a year, 4 months, you said, and so do you feel like because in a year and 4 months life maybe that's my angel and we're just making sure we're awake here, but do you feel like, because life is ebbs and it flows, do you feel like you can get through anything when things are great, but when things aren't so great, it's a little bit harder? So do you feel like you have the tools to handle life when it ebbs?
I feel that one of the greatest gifts sobriety has given me is just to be able to feel actually what I'm feeling and recognize, oh hey, I'm getting frustrated or sad or whatever the case may be, and actually be able to work through that then and there and lean on people around me, especially my husband. There are so many times where he said, I just don't know how you feel. I don't know what's going through your head. Like, use me. I'm your partner. And he would be so frustrated. And it's like, I was so numb to the good and the bad. But now, as I'm like settling into still a sober mind, you're just like, you realize that the hard things are going to be hard, but they don't need to be as hard as they once were. Mm-hmm. And
they have an end date, whereas before they never had an end date.
Yep. So one day at a time. I know that's all we have is one day. Mm-hmm. And I know that having two kids is not going to be always easy and fun, and I'm grateful that I have lots of support around me. I feel like even Javid, my husband, yesterday was like, you're just so good at staying up with your friends and like really making an effort to stay close to your close friends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that he would have said that 2 years ago.
I was never good at that.
So it's gonna be all right. Yeah, it's gonna be all right. It's such a blessing. So
I've come a long way in that area too. I used to never be good at keeping up relationships and friendships. If they didn't pursue me, I didn't pursue them, and so I've let a lot of friendships go that I wished I hadn't. But now it's a two-way street, and we all participate together. You said something else about your feelings and talking about your feelings. I'm pretty good at identifying my feelings, but but when I'm like down and I'm sad or mad or things like that, I have to stop myself and give myself permission to be sad or mad or whatever, and tell myself it's okay to feel like this. And then I have to talk myself through my role so I can get through it. But that's one of the biggest things about sobriety for me is things that would happen. I was a victim to for many years, a lifetime, and now things happen, and just I deal with it, move on. Sometimes an hour, sometimes a day, sometimes a week, but it doesn't last years anymore. And that's one of the biggest gifts for me is I don't have to sit in that for a lifetime like I did in the past. So that's been good. So I really appreciate that you came in and let me interview you today. I appreciate you as a person. I do think you're a beautiful person. I really do.
Likewise, Tara.
And
likewise,
I cannot wait for the little baby. And I hope that you all enjoyed Amy's story as much as I did. If you or somebody you know is struggling with addiction, please reach out to me. I'd love to be able to talk to you. My email and my website, my phone number is attached to this. And so please reach out to me. You can also reach out to me through Messenger. If you'll continue to watch every Monday at 3:30, we'll be posting these videos. We're actually booked out clear through the middle of July, so I'm very excited about that. Yeah, very excited. And then
awesome.
We've got a few others in there, so there's a lot of really good response. We're getting a lot of really great stories. I'll go back and listen to these videos after I do them, and really good stories. I enjoy listening to them over and over and over. So I'm really grateful for everybody that's a part of this. Your best life is waiting for you. Please connect with me. We're going to find it together. We are moving these videos over to my professional page. So if you'll follow Love Prevails, I'm going to be sending out invitations to follow for those that don't already follow, because we'd like for you to continue watching these videos. I hope everybody enjoys their week, and I look forward to seeing you all again next Monday. Have a good one, and thanks again.
You're welcome, Tara. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a good one.